Good morning. Oh, wait a minute. This is not right. The infinite divinity, the chalice is lit, and in the flames, the memory of our trans and non-binary ancestors do a dance of freedom and liberation, reminding us that we are whole and holy. We are loved beyond all measure, and in our refusal to accept anything less, may we know we are rooted in the infinite divinity, not relegated to the outskirts of the web of all existence, but enshrined at its core, enfleshed with stardust and fairy dust, an intentional creation of space where our many gods lie.
Con espíritu de reverencia, reconocemos que nos juntamos en la tierra de los Kumeyaay. Al encender esta vela, reafirmamos nuestro compromiso de cultivar relaciones significativas con los habitantes de esta tierra y de trabajar juntos por la justicia y la equidad.
In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather on the land of the Kumeyaay. As we light this candle, we affirm our commitment to cultivate meaningful relationships with the people of this land and to work together for justice and equity.
Now I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, How Could Anyone? We'll sing this twice through.
Good morning, and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship each Sunday in the South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Our mission is to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values to help heal the world. I am Louise Titlow, and I use the pronouns they, she. I am a member of the Rainbow Action team, and I am serving as your worship associate this morning. If you are visiting, I want to extend to you a special welcome. I invite you to fill out the visitor form in your order of service and return it to the welcome table. If you are joining us online, you can also fill out a visitor form at the link on the live stream page or in the YouTube service description. We would love to connect with you. If you have been coming for a while and are starting to feel like this is your spiritual home, consider becoming a member of this beloved community. If you would like to explore what it means to be a member or have questions about the membership process, you are invited to meet Jan Gallo right here at the front of the meeting house after the service.
I had that idea to come out and sing How Could Anyone Ever Tell You to all of you, but I ran out of verses. So next time. Welcome to this space. Bring all of who you are and all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness. You are welcome here. In all of the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. Let the beauty that is whom you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you live, move, and experience your embodied self, you are welcome here. With all of the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here. Together, may we live into our shared values with love at the center. It is good to be together.
We invite you to rise again in body or in spirit and join us in singing our church hymn and reciting our church aspiration.
May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Que el amor sea la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad su sacramento y el servicio su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y ayudarnos mutuamente en comunidad. A eso aspiramos.
Good morning, friends. I'd like to invite any of the children or youth who'd like to come up and join me for the time for all ages. Good morning. Oh, as they're coming up, I'll remind you the Journey Toward Wholeness team is going to offer a workshop today at 11:30 in the common room if you would like to join them. That is not what we're going to do. Good morning. Good morning. So today, we're celebrating Trans Day of Visibility, and if you've looked at the program, you might notice that there are a lot of different reflections from different people in our community, and for our Time for All Ages today, we have a reflection from two of our children, Harper and Ember, who couldn't be here in person today, but they recorded a video for us to see with their mom. So let's take a look at what they have to share with us.
Hi, I'm Julie Trello Chillaby. My pronouns are she, her.
My name is Harper Chillaby Mayhorder, and my pronouns are she, her, and this is
Amber Chillaby Mayhorder. My pronouns are he, they, and I'm 9 years old.
And we're here today to talk about Transgender Day of Visibility. Why do we think it's important to have a special day like that?
I think it's important so we give the trans community a day to feel honored, and it shouldn't only be this day, it should be the entire year. Yeah.
Absolutely. Why do we think it's important to recognize and honor people's pronouns?
Because everyone can feel equal and
Seen and affirmed in their identity, right? Absolutely. Are there any other ways that we can support our transgender and non-binary friends?
I think we can congratulate them, give them a high five, or give them a compliment. What do you think, Amber?
yeah, I would give them a compliment.
Yeah. Are there ways that you feel really affirmed about your gender?
No.
Because really what matters is it's all about just seeing you as who you are, right? And, but using people's pronouns is really important to respect that. And that can really sort of validate what folks feel inside. Wonderful. Well, happy Transgender Day of Visibility, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
So if they're watching at home, I want to thank Ember and Harper and their mom, Julie, for sharing that with us. And just to re-echo, I think some of those little things that we can do make a huge difference. You know, we use our pronouns here just to make it a space where everybody feels safe to do that and express their full self. And you might want to take Harper's advice and give somebody a compliment or even a high five out on the patio today as a way to make them feel welcome. So friends, up here, I need your help. If you could stand up with me, we're going to lead the congregation in our affirmation. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios, universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos y manos que dan la bienvenida. And now I invite all the children or youth who'd like to join me and their leaders out on the patio. We'll head to our groups.
Here in Hillcrest, lay ministers are available following the service to offer a listening presence. So if you have something on your heart that you would like to share, you can do that. And this morning, our lay minister is Melinda. Also, I just want to remind you that we have this lovely trencher over here with candles. At any time during the service, you can go and light a candle and place it in the sand as a physical representation of what it is that you are holding. Today, following the service, Matt Kaplan will lead a tour of our campus. This is a chance for you to see some of the many beautiful gems here. So you can meet up with Matt right up here after the postlude and begin your tour. And a reminder that next Sunday is Easter for those who celebrate, and that is also the day when we celebrate flower communion. So you're invited to bring a flower from your garden if you have one. And if you don't worry, we will have plenty. But do come and be part of the beauty of this community reflected in the beauty of the flowers that we share. And we'll also take time to honor the wheel of life, pausing to remember and celebrate the lives of people who have died during this past year, and also to celebrate the babies born during this past year. So please come and be a part of those important rituals.
One way we live our values is by sharing our offering each week. On the 5th Sunday of the month, we honor our relationship with our partner churches. During the 32 years of our partner relationship with the Unitarian Church in Brașov, Romania, there have been visits, gifts, and much learning about our shared path. The congregation continues to provide social services for older adults living alone and families struggling with economic insecurity. Today's generosity offering will help the congregation provide meals to those in need in their community. You can donate by cash or check in the boxes at the back of the meeting house, or you can text 73256 with text to donate, or scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you so much for your generosity. The offering will now be gratefully received.
We are blessed to have so much technology that allows us to be accessible to many people in different places at different times. And when something changes last minute, sometimes there's like one more thing to remember to update. And so I apologize. Kristen reminded me that this is a fifth Sunday, and so the offering goes to our partner church, not to You Rise, which you might have noticed. The slide said You Rise. That was my fault. It's never Leora's fault. If anything goes wrong ever with the slides or anything, it is never Leora's fault. It's always my fault, basically. So we'll bring you some pictures from our partner church next time. In most Christian churches, preachers preach from the lectionary. That is a shared text across all the churches. So wherever you are in the world, you could go to any Christian church on a Sunday morning, and they would all be reading the same story or reading from the Bible. The Bible's divided up across the calendar, so there's consistency. And one of the challenges that comes in with that kind of pre-assigned text is that when something happens in the world or in the life of a congregation, the preacher then has to find a way to use the assigned text and make it relevant to the issue at hand. In our UU congregations, we don't have a shared lectionary or even one shared sacred text. So when we plan our worship services, we choose the topic or the issue that will be relevant for the congregation, and then we find text that supports that in readings and songs and liturgy. Except when the calendar influences what will be covered in a given week, what would be expected to be covered in a given week. And this week just happens to mark the beginning of Passover on Wednesday. Today is also Palm Sunday, the beginning of Holy Week in the Christian church, the Sunday before Easter. And today, of course, we also honor Transgender Day of Visibility. So my challenge was to find the common thread that might tie those three observances together. And then, of course, in this past week, Muslims all over the world celebrated the end of Ramadan, the holiest time in the Muslim calendar, a time when Muslims are called to reflect on the values they hold most dear. It's a time of fasting during the day and then gathering in community in the evening to break the fast and express gratitude for all that they receive. So what ties these seemingly disparate celebrations divided by culture, tradition, theology, and thousands of years together? Well, certainly themes of persistence, perseverance, defiance, the importance of community and solidarity, and the power of joy, not just as a feeling, but as a tool to endure suffering, to overcome adversity, to celebrate when despair would be certainly understandable, to transcend, rise above, to prosper. And so we settled on the theme of transcendent joy for this celebration this morning. In the Passover story, the Israelites are preparing to leave captivity, guided by Moses. And as the story goes, God sends plagues of locusts and hail and pestilence to soften Pharaoh's heart. And at first he relents and agrees to release the enslaved Israelites, only to change his mind time after time until the final plague, the death of the firstborn. To distinguish themselves from the intended targets of this plague, the Israelites mark their doors with lamb's blood so that the angel of death will pass over their homes. This was a necessary act of courage on their parts, identifying themselves as part of this devalued and endangered class so that they might be safe. What an act of courage and faith to be identified in that way. In the story of Palm Sunday, Jesus and his disciples are making their way into Jerusalem to celebrate Passover. And by this time, Jesus is a wanted man, considered an enemy of the state because of his radical teachings of love for the stranger and refusing to bow down to empire. His friends tell him to lay low, to travel under cover of darkness so that he will avoid detection. But Jesus refuses to hide and instead travels in broad daylight into the city on the back of a donkey, like a great pride parade. Courage, defiance, transcendent joy. And of course, we have today Transgender Day of Visibility. At a time when funding is being cut, when legislation is being proposed, passed, and signed into law, making it increasingly difficult for transgender folks to get the medical treatment they need, for gender fluid children to receive the love and support they need and deserve. When folks are spending countless hours debating whether or not transgender athletes should be allowed to play sports, this at a time of war, famine, impending financial calamity, not to mention the Epstein files. But no, let's talk about who can play baseball and which bathroom people should use. In the midst of all that noise, and when the stakes are so high, why should we celebrate visibility and invite folks to share their pronouns and their true names? Why make such a big deal about this? Why mark our doors to let them know who we are? Why ride to town on the back of a donkey or a highly decorated pickup truck with disco music playing as loud as can be? Why celebrate our true selves and insist that people use our true names? Because, my friends, in the words of the wise and wonderful Audre Lorde, now with the ancestors, when you spend energy hiding who you are, you give power to your enemies. When you spend energy hiding who you are, you give power to your enemies. Our beloved trans, non-binary, genderqueer, gender-fluid folks, and all who love them, so that includes all of us, deserve not merely to be accommodated, but to be cherished, celebrated. Joy is a tool in the work for justice. Like its sister, love, joy is both the way and the reason we fight for justice, for freedom, for liberation, for us all. Please join me in a moment of meditation or prayer. Holy One, known by many names and by no name, Spirit of life and of love, we are grateful for the lives of those who do not always feel seen, do not always feel heard, do not always feel cherished. May we join our capacity and our strength and our love with theirs so that they might feel a hand of support when they falter. And let us ask for that support for ourselves when we too feel weary, questioning whether or not we can go on. For we have a secret weapon. That is our capacity for love and our ability to find and create and celebrate moments of joy. Let us continue to hold one another up, not just because we must, but because we can. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Ashe.
I was an educator in a local high school when 2 student leaders in our program began to transition as non-binary in 2013. The students and their families reached out to us and Trans Family SOS and other organizations for support and guidance. We continued to have more students explore their gender identities over the years, but they were the leaders. They taught the other children how to navigate the system. We listened to them and to what they needed, and the administration and counseling and other teachers did as well. And with the lessons we learned together, in partnership, we were able to build a loving community together. This reflection, entitled Tiger Mom, was written by a member of this community who does not feel ready to share her name and that of her child in such a public space, but this is an important story to share, and I am honored to offer it. In a small library, my husband and I meet once a month with other parents to find community. Our group is usually small, under 20 people, and we sit around a single table, huddled in, making room for one another. We are here to try to figure out how to be better parents to our kids and allies to those we love. Most of us are parents of trans and non-binary kids. We are here in this group because parenting a child like ours without community is not for the faint of heart in this country right now. We worry about times we may feel we have messed up. We worry they'll be beaten up in a bathroom or taunted on a playground, or worse, we are watching their rights being taken away, their personhood denied. We want to hear from others how they did it. How do we make sure they know they are safe, loved, and important just as they are? How do we assure they get to become trans adults or even elders? The attempted suicide rate for trans and non-binary adolescents is over 50% in this country. Statistically, every other one of us in this room would have a kid who attempted suicide by the time they reached adulthood. How many would have succeeded? Try searching Parent Support Group for Trans Children or Support Group plus Trans Child plus San Diego, or even simply Parent Support Group San Diego. The results are scarce. There is a reason for this, I would learn. I asked my therapist for resources, and even she came up short. Then one day, there it was, a parents' organization with the message, leading with love. Forming a smile set inside of a heart, I called and left a message on a general line. I emailed. In the following days, I was contacted by a group leader who scheduled an interview. As I was vetted, she explained, "We have to make sure you're a member of the community. We have had issues before. We don't just release our meeting information." This was why they were so hard to find. This group confounds me sometimes. One father laments, "How could my son possibly be a girl if he grew up building assault rifles with me?" When another parent tells us how she thinks her kid is good because she was so hard on them. I wonder silently if this is why transitioning in the military felt safer than transitioning at home. I sit and listen and try to stay out of judgment. Stay curious, I coach myself. Normally, once all the gun talk entered the chat, I would have excused myself, but they are here, trying to figure out how to support their kid just like me. I admire them because I imagine they might have had more to combat internally to be here than I did. My husband and I have the youngest kid in the group. Most are parenting teens or young adults. They ask us how we knew as our kid is so young. He told us, we respond. But I know an important key is that we listened. I take my kid as a person able to know themselves even if they were very young. Just as I didn't question whether they really liked big cats and monster trucks, when they told me they were a boy persistently, insistently, and consistently, I figured they knew. I also credit my therapist who, when I shared my impulse to respond to my kid's declaration that this is what boys do and I'm a boy, by telling them, girls do that too, there are no boy things or girl things, guided me by saying, they're trying to make sure you can see them. They're performing boy, and they want you to see. She helped me navigate unfamiliar waters. With hers and other gender-diverse friends' guidance, we did not correct him. When our kid told us he was a boy at 3, we listened and acknowledged, but took no action. When they declared it again and again as they grew, we sought further help. I have sat dumbfounded as my liberal friends have asked me where I thought my kid learned to be trans. Friends who were raising their kids alongside us told us, the schools are teaching them to be gay. I realized that the friends I made in my 20s will not be the same friends I've raised my children with. At the time of my child's transition, we hadn't even attended school yet. It was the summer before kindergarten that I began to struggle to get them dressed. As an experiment, I put them in some hand-me-downs we received from my neighbor, whose son is a year older. What followed was joy, ninja moves, a look on his face that said, "Do you see me, Mom? Do you see me?" All of us in this group have reached a point when we realized we needed guidance from another parent in our shoes, where we realized we needed community. When my first was born, I held her in my arms and found myself mentally reaching for the Hippocratic oath, do no harm. Oh God, I thought, how am I going to do this? It's a tall order, impossible to apply over a lifetime in relationship with a person. I have now developed my own oath. Listen, apologize when I mess up, grow. So when my second told me who they are, I listened. When they refused to get dressed, I grew. We donated the old clothes and went shopping. The joy he expressed in his new wardrobe was undeniable. I let him know he could pick out a new name. I tried to guide him towards a gender-neutral name that would fly under the radar and be flexible as he grew. But he chose the name Tiger. Let's think on it, I said, but he was resolved. I began to question the practice of naming our kids before we even meet them, before they tell us who they are. My oldest insisted on going by Willow for a while, and just as soon as we finally got it, she decided to switch back. Why should I not give my youngest the same agency? So, Tiger it is. As I thought about it, I found it fitting, as when they were first learning to write their name, they would write T-I-E. And shortly after they were born, I got a tiger tattoo to commemorate the event. These monthly meetings are where I can express that I wince a little internally when I introduce him to other parents, and for a split second, their gaze lingers on me, wondering if I am joking. My smiling yet unmoving face assures them I am not. This kid from day one has been the person who has broken down my rigid boundaries. They challenge me with health scares, vocal cords that I swear could break glass, and a wildly free temperament that makes me laugh instead of insisting on decorum. With my first, I learned how to keep a kid alive and cared for. I learned to be gentle and how to parent in a way I had no template for. I relied on books and doctors to usher me into parenthood. I gripped tightly to the rules so that I wouldn't stray onto the path of family history. With my second, I learned to put the books down and trust myself and my kids to tell me what we needed to be healthy and happy. I am hopeful that through meeting spaces like the one my husband and I attend, like me, our communities can put down rules rigidly adhered to and learn to care for one another in a way that lets people be healthy, happy, and trust them to be the judges of what that means. There, we do work explaining to those who are too intimidated to ask elsewhere what gender fluid is, what the differences between trans and gay is, and other questions we're scared to ask outsiders. Biases are broken down, and alliances are made that otherwise would not happen. Binaries that don't allow us to see the spectrum of who people are and love them fully are pieced together. We learn that when we allow ourselves to be loved as they are, we allow ourselves to be loved in all of our complexities in kind. If we can stay curious and let people be free and wild, we allow ourselves to be free in turn. We can learn to lead with love.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sabrina. I go by the pronoun she, they, and I will be reading for you a poem by Adune, who is a femme trans poet from Nigeria. Just the exact way you say it to remind us of outdoing the box, an imposing call to order, reminding us that we might be just doing too much. After all, we paid our dues with our heads buried under the waters and dreams dying in thoughts. Yet we are advised to tone it down, denying ourselves of existing at their comfort, while we are made aliens in our birthplace, homes, and even to ourselves. They say the more the normality, the better the acceptance. We have been taught to hate who we are, be afraid of what we've become, and beat down at anything that takes our form. They say you do not have to be out and loud, but you, while you stay flourishing in the regretful corner of your heart, your freedom is to impose restricting opinions on our expressions of self. For what we love, who we are, brings us together, and so the same is the joy, to exist differently and free. How so sweet to be considered our safety, but it's not in our position to apologize when they are not close to comfort with our lives. Thank you.
We invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, Joy in the Morning.
Closing words.
There are moments when language turns blade, not metaphor, but something entering the body.
I hear it, taunts, threats, flung at those people, and my chest tightens, a fist closing.
Because those people include people I love, faces I know by heart, their laughter still close.
I go very still, heart sparking, heat rising, wanting to answer wound with wound.
To strike back with sharper words to make them feel what they are doing.
But I know how quickly harm multiplies, how even righteous anger can harden into the same blade.
I have seen what happens when we become what we oppose.
So I hold their names like prayer, pressing back the surge, refusing to let it choose me.
Searching for words that might open a door between us and them.
What is faith but this, to refuse the lie of shallow lives?
What is love but this, to feel the strike before it lands, to stand even shaking between word and flesh?
I want to gather us, speaker, wounded, this breaking heart, into something wider.
And say what the soul knows.
Each of us belongs, even now, with the air split wide open.
Something deeper moves a current beneath the urge to answer hate with hate, a quiet, stubborn vow.
No one erased, no one outside.
I will speak from there.
Not as certainty, but as vow.
A small, burning yes against every no that would unmake the ones I love.
If my voice shakes, let it.
Like something holy that will not go silent. These words by Kate Lohr. Go in peace.